Hi everybody, this is Wendy. I know it's been a minute since I came on here, but hey, you're listening to Save Your Tears podcast, where we talk about the nitty-gritty about life and how to save your tears. And of course, I'm coming back with a bang. I'm here with my bestie, Sally.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Sally. How's everybody doing?
Girl, you're like my first guest.
God.
Besides the person I, worked with, you are literally my first guest of the podcast. So congratulations, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Yes. Round of applause to the queen. So today's topic, we're going to talk about friend groups, how to handle it when you lose a bunch of friend groups. I see so many people out there that go through something like this, including myself. And we're going to dig deep and see what are the best coping mechanisms if you relate to our stories, and see how you can cope with it and hopefully save some tears. So of course I have Sally here because, girl, we be losing friends. We be losing friends and for good reason, I guess.
I guess they always say, one door closes, another one opens. So it's just your perspective. You have to think about, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I guess it's just a way, if you look, is the glass half full or half empty? It really depends.
Yes. So my thing is that I want people to be very clear, because I know that people listen to this podcast. This is for just our experiences, and we're just sharing our experiences, and these are all alleged. So, but anyways, let's begin. So, obviously everyone has those friend groups where they feel like family, they feel like you're so close, you solidified a lot of friends in your life. And it could either be an event, or it can either be maybe just them, where they decide, hey, as a whole, not to be your friend anymore. And having to lose such a large amount of people in your life is obviously very upsetting. You're never gonna know how to react or see your own reaction to the whole thing. It's very, very traumatizing, if you ask me, right? So I'm gonna begin with Sally introducing a situation that she went through in her life where, she did things that were not the best case scenario. But, she done her own actions, and people tend to meddle in and have their opinion about it. And in the end, she lost a lot of friends because of it. So I'm here to share that story with you. So, Sally, take the lead.
All right. So I will make it as simple as I can and try to tell my side of the story, and hopefully anybody else may have been gone through this as well. I can give advice on how I was able to handle it. So my situation, pretty much the best way to say it is, I had done some stuff, not proud of my past. Everybody does stuff. There's always those skeletons in the closet. Nobody's perfect. We're all human.
Period.
So the problem was, certain people, my ex-friends, were not so thrilled with my said actions, and it affected my personal relationship. It affected, my family, loved ones, and it just affected a big group overall. And people just had opinions to themselves and were not happy with the situation, and they took it to heart when it had nothing to do with them. Everybody, like I said, has their own things that they go through, and it's everybody's own business. You could just be a bystander and give support as much as you can, or you can try to get involved with something that has nothing to do with you. It doesn't benefit you because it's nothing to do with you. It's not your situation.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to reiterate, a lot of these situations, like Sally stated, that everyone makes mistakes. I'm pretty sure everyone who has are listening now, even myself or Sally, anybody in this, any human made a mistake out there. And in reference to what she's stating, it's, this friend group took it very too much in the heart, and they put their personal beliefs upon her, and it caused a lot of rift in their friendship, and ultimately ended their friendship. And to me, the question that starts it all is, when you were going through all those things, in this situation, when you have a friend group that doesn't agree with you or don't particularly like you, and be biased towards someone else, and they see their actions as the same as yours, but they were like, oh, like, it's not that big of a deal, I'm just whatever. But with you, it's like, oh, it's end all be all, like, you're a horrible person, all these things. But again, those issues that she done, or so forth, other parties, that's between her and that said person, had nothing to do with anyone else but you and that said person. So my question to you is that when you were going through those things, what made you be the woman that you are today, and standing strong and being okay with not having these kind of people in your life? Like, what was that switch? Because at one point you were very obviously hurt by the whole thing. And my thing is that what made you be like stronger, if that makes sense?
No, I understand. I guess for me, it was, in the beginning, it did hurt a lot. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety for it, blaming myself. I was very gaslit and trying to figure out what's going on and how do I handle the situation. I was very lost for a little bit. I was very depressed. I was very anxious. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping because I've been friends with these people for so long, and then in the blink of an eye, one action caused them all to always say, oh, we never even liked you, you were never this, you were never that.
Their opinions change so quickly.
It's like they flipped within like a 5-second
radius,
and it just was nuts. So for me, finding my own self-worth, learning that, fine, everybody does make mistakes, I'm human, that was the main thing. Like, I still struggle with it sometimes. Some days the demons come out and it's like, okay, this is not how I want to feel my day. I'm not liking it. But then I have the support of my significant other. I have all that support that shows that even if you do make a mistake, you are human. Mm-hmm. You're allowed to make mistakes.
And you learned from it.
Exactly.
You learned from it. And during the whole debacle, like, I wasn't around. Like, if I was around, it would have been a different story. But I wasn't around, and I was pretty much there in the aftermath of everything. And even, like, your wedding, and, mm-hmm. some people, those same people who were, like, being so mean to her, or stop being friends with her because of their reasoning, those same people will show up to her wedding unannounced. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you dealt with that. Like, I don't know how you had the patience. Like, I've known Sally for a good 6 years, 7?
Yeah, about 6 or 7.
Yeah, and I feel like you're stronger now than you ever have before. Because I see a transition, though, like you stated, you take accountability for your own actions, and in some sense you can understand why they feel the way they feel, but the way they went about it was just completely wrong. And but you ultimately, your relationship, you as a person at first became so much stronger. Yes. After all the 7 years I've been around you, so but again, what was the turning point, if that makes sense? Like, what was like, I had enough?
I think for me, it was just, there wasn't really a set point to say, oh, today's the day that I'm just not going to give a shit. Yeah. Like, I'm just not going to care, and, this is behind me. It was a transition. It took months for me to say, okay, keep telling myself, communication, start focusing on your life, get a job, focus on a career, become an adult. Like, we're not in high school anymore, and I don't really need drama in my life. I don't even wish any bad on anybody. Like, listen, no. You guys all, whatever the case is, you have your own lives now. You have chapters closed.
Exactly.
And that's how I was able to cope with that, by saying, you know what, I'm focusing on my own chapter. I don't have the time, energy, or patience to deal with somebody else's chapter that has nothing to do with the new me.
Oh my God, you said that so beautifully. I love that, bitch. Oh my God, that was so good. Oh, so good. No, I completely agree with you, because I know, guys, I've been away for a very long time, and a lot has transpired in that freaking time frame that I went through. Not only did I start a new position in my job, I'm a paralegal for probate administration, so a lot of my time is my job nowadays because it's a lot of work. Again, if anyone gives attorneys a hard time or paralegals a hard time, go suck a dick, because you should respect them. But either way, I also went through my own things. I lost a series of a lot of groups. There's people like, let's say you did something. There's a scenario, right? You did something, they didn't like it, they went off the rails with whatever they felt, and they took it too far. They stopped being your friend, right? There's other situations where I went through when I went through a breakup, and I lost all friends. All the friends that I've gained from that breakup. You literally like, I met you through my ex, actually.
I mean, they always say, like, when one door closes, another one opens. Like, I've gained so many friends after everything, like, because once everybody can connect in a way through whatever you have gone through, whether it's like a type of grief or it's some kind of, situation that's similar. Everybody can kind of connect with each other and say, okay, I connect with you, I vibe with this, I get this. Like, as you had said to me before, as you get older, small group of friends, like, I've had people that I didn't talk to for a while are now part of my lives, and my group is small, but my group is good.
It's solidified.
And it's genuine, and it's people that I can say, like, I have trust issues because, you trust people for so long, and then they just throw it away.
Exactly.
But now it's like, okay, I have a group that I know my ride or dies. I can trust that.
Exactly. And it brings back to the point, though, I was gone for a while. A lot of it had to do with emotional. I went through a big loss of a friend. He, you already know who it is, but I try not to talk about it as much anymore because it is causing a lot of drama. But regardless, this is my experience, and I'm allowed to share that. Exactly. And, I lost friendships through a breakup. I lost friendships because of a choice that I made. Or sometimes I was so outspoken that, like, sometimes the way that I say things may come across as an aggressive person. But to me, it's like, no, like, I'm very assertive, and I like to be around people who are the same. And I'm not saying be a bitch, but I'm saying is I like the real shit. You know what I mean? I don't like yes men around my life. So I lost friends because they didn't like who I was as a person. Maybe I pointed out their insecurities, or maybe there's something that I've done that was not in alignment with what the hell they're going through, or wavelength. So all these losses of friendships come in one common theme. I'm not saying we're in different levels, but we're at different maturity. We grow, and just like my man, he even says it, and you just said it a few moments ago. Oh, like, the older you get, the smaller your circle becomes. Because you're solidifying the people that you want around your life. There is a difference. You don't want to have yes men in your life. You want people who tell you what it is and be a loyal friend to you and give you the same energy just as much as they give to you. And that's the kind of friendship that even Sally and I have, like, we've been friends, and we always kept it real with each other, always kept it 100, you know what I mean? So when losing friends, I want you, the listener, to really listen to this. It isn't really about you. Like, even if people are coming at you and saying, like, for instance, for me, oh, Wendy, you never take accountability. Oh, Wendy, you're a gold digger. Oh, Wendy, you're this, you're that, and that. This is their perception of me. It doesn't make it me. You know what I mean? I know who I am, and I'm solidified of who I am as a person. And though it hurts, and I totally understand how much it hurts to lose a best friend, to lose a large quantity of friendships, of course it's going to hurt. But when you think of a friend, just as much as I said in my other podcast episodes, when you think of the perfect partner, when you think of the perfect friend, do you imagine your friend doing this to you? No, so that is not a friend. You don't want that people in your life, right? So ultimately, we all learn something from it. And it doesn't make them bad people. It doesn't make them like, oh, the most horrible people in the world. Maybe some, but not majority of the time, no. It just, we're in different wavelengths, and what they provide in my life is starting to become a negative standpoint, and I'm going to do what I need to do to add peace to my life. And I think that's where Sally is when she lost all these friends. But to her, it's like, oh, it's not really a loss. I gained. Because just as much as you lost them as a friendships, you gained so many others.
Exactly.
And they're a lot, more positive, a lot more, like, understanding and all this stuff, you know what I mean? So, a question to you is, what advice would you like to give to our listeners right here, my listeners? I call them the beans because I love them. But what would you tell my beans? Like, if, let's say, they feel alone, they feel like they're not enough because they literally lost all their friends just now, like a friend group. I lost so many. Like, I lost like 3 of them. Even recently, like, my ex's friend group, they go out, and my man, he knows, like, maybe one person from that friend group that he saw recently, but I don't have any animosity towards him. I just don't want to be around them because I just felt like I was deserted after everything. So it's just like, you know what, like, I wish them nothing but the best, but this is too much of a trigger for me to be around. It's not really about them, but at the same time, it's like I didn't like how they treated me at the end, so I just felt like I had to, like, back off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, again, what's your advice to people who are experiencing these kind of tribulations, if that makes sense?
I guess for me, the advice would be, don't give up. Like, it may take so long, to be with people, connect with them, and then it can end in the blink of an eye. But that's anything in life.
Exactly.
Nothing's guaranteed. You have to realize, it's not going to rain every single day of the life. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows all the time. You're going to have a lot of trials and tribulation, but you have to, as long as you have your own self-awareness and your own self-worth, you can do whatever you want. But until the day you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be very difficult, because you're so used to, let's say, like me, for instance, I was so used to relying on other people to feel happy, and relying on, if I did something wrong, oh no, it's my fault, what did I do now? I'm sorry for being this way. No, fuck that, I'm not sorry for being that way.
Exactly.
That's how I am as a person. If you don't like it, there's the door, adios, goodbye.
Keep it pushing. Like, and I noticed that too, because, a lot of people, I had, like, something in my head that was just so good. I forgot. I literally lost my train of thought. Like, I dead-ass thought of something, and I was just like, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Like, either way, that's some good advice right there. But I think I was trying to say, like, what the fuck was I trying to say? Fuck! I lost my train of thought. This is why I have to write things down. What the hell? It was something about losing friends, like when you're growing older. Like, obviously growing older, but then, like, your short amount of friends and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, the size of the friend group doesn't matter. You can have 20 people in your friend group and feel just as lonely as being with one person.
Exactly.
A number doesn't mean anything. It's the quality of that friendship, not the quantity.
Exactly. Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
There you go.
There we go. I was going to say, a lot of people out there that are mourning, and I say mourning or grieving loss of friendship because it is a loss. It is a grieving process. But a lot of people value being like, oh, the more friends I have, the more valuable I am. I'm enough. Like, or they determine their own value by what their friends see in them. And it's like, no, you shouldn't determine your value based upon what your friends look at you as. My value begins with me. That's something you need to start thinking. It doesn't begin with, oh, like, my boyfriend likes it when I do this, or my boyfriend likes it when I freaking buy this for him, and my value is more because I did this. No. Same thing with friendships. Oh, the more friends, the more people who like me, the more valuable I am. That's not how it is. Value begins with you. And I feel like once you start valuing yourself in such a degree that you get yourself so stupid high that no one can touch you or bring you down, right? So the moment these friends try to bring you down, then in your head, I'm like, I'm too valuable for this shit.
They can't reach you.
They can't reach you. I'm too high up, and you're going to be left behind because I'm going to keep pushing forward. And I think that's where you're at. You're at that point, Sally, where you're just like, I'm done dealing with stuff like this, and I'm building myself so high that none of these people can touch me anymore.
Yeah, it's like I'm running a marathon, like actually running. They're still stuck on the treadmill. They're not going anywhere. They just keep running in place, and it's like eventually it's going to make a difference where I'm already going to be gone, and it's not going to bother me. It's going to be like, you know what? It's still going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to
sting.
Yeah.
But you have to realize you can't go backwards.
You got to keep moving. And I want you, my listeners, my beings, to keep in mind of that. We are living representation. And trust me, hey, if Sally was like, fuck you, bitch, like, I because of the podcast, I'm going to stop being your friend. Like, even if Sally did that the next day, obviously I would be hurt. But, in the end of the day, like, if that's how she sees me, then I'm sorry, bye-bye. Right?
You can't change people's perspective of how they view you.
I've learned that the hard way.
They're going to view you as evil in their book anyway, that you're the villain no matter what you do. You could do nothing wrong, and they're still going to view you as that. That's on them. That's their demons that they need to fight.
Period.
If you don't have your own to fight, then everybody's got their own shit to do. Not everybody has enough time to deal with that person's shit and that person's shit. No,
we're adults. But there's people out there that I know that are like, oh, like, I am the fault. Like, I actually did something wrong, and that's why I lost all my friends. Take it as a learning curve. Mm-hmm. Take loss as a gain for knowledge and to learn and grow as a person. Take advantage. You know what I mean? So, like, if you feel like you did something wrong that caused a reaction to lose a friend, don't start belittling yourself. I'm a piece of shit. Like, oh my God, I lost all my friends. I'm a horrible person. Learn from it. Feel it. Understand it. Don't beat yourself over it because you're human. You're young. You're human. And you make mistakes. As long as you're not killing nobody and doing a crime, I could care less. Or be toxic and start being narcissistic and start hurting people for funsies, then that's a problem. But besides the point is, hey, like, it's an opportunity to learn and become a better person. So when you do have a next round of friends, you will stop doing behaviors that are unhealthy to you and to others. Keep to others into consideration, obviously, but most importantly, learn for yourself. Learn to grow as a person for yourself, because that everything begins with you. Not trying to quote the Netflix show You, but So so I'm happy that you are here with the podcast. I hope no one is angry listening to me. The people who start drama, please calm down. Stop taking notes. But other than that, she's my first guest, and I thank you for sharing your story. I hope you're not mad about me bringing up these questions.
The way I always see it is, like I said, talking about it sometimes it hurts, and it's like, okay, but you also have to face your trauma. You can't just keep in and, like you just said, run away and say, oh, it never happened, let's forget. I love to say that. Oh, I wish this never happened, it didn't exist. I can't say that. No. I love to say that, but I can't say that because it happened. I can't go, back in time with a time machine and say, oh, let me redo what I did. You have to just learn from your mistakes. Everything happens for a reason, whether it's positive or negative. Exactly. It's going to happen. Either you're going to learn something good from it, or you're going to learn, hey, this is a toxic behavior. I can't do this no more, because if I do this, history is just going to keep repeating itself. Mm-hmm. You have to learn. So this is the problem, whether you're the problem or somebody else is the problem, or whatever the situation is. Don't think of it as the person as to blame. Think of it as the behavior, how it's perceived.
Exactly. Yes, bitch.
So you have to think of it that way, because if you don't, you're going to lose your shit.
Exactly.
And you're going to think you're not worth nothing, and you are.
You're not worthless, I'm telling you. And like she stated, like, everyone's going to think of you in some way. There's people out there that think of me in such a negative light, but at the end of the day, I can't control that. I can't control what people think just as much as she can't control what people think of her. But what we can control is becoming better people to not only for us, self-love, but to the people around us that we have now. You know,
like
become
the people
better.
that are worth the self-love.
Exactly.
That are worth the new you and that actually will flourish from seeing the new you versus the you used to be.
I have like a few friends, but these few friends that I have are so precious to me.
Yes.
And I'm very happy that I went through what I went through because it ultimately made me a stronger person, get my shit together, and yeah, now we're successful beings.
Yes.
And I want you guys to be successful too. So on that note, thank you so much, Sally, for coming to this podcast day. I'm back, bitches. But I'm going to start doing more episodes. I'm going to try to do it every single week. If not, then maybe 2 weeks. But yeah, other than that, keep in mind, you know, I'm still working and I'm still doing my best here. So on that note, thank you so much for listening to Save Your Tears podcast. You can find our Instagram page. You can find our Facebook page. We're on Spotify, Acast, I believe iTunes, and YouTube. So again, Save Your Tears podcast. Thank you, Sally, for coming.
Thank you very much.
And until next time, bye. Woo!